the VCA Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Marie Kerl. Our goal with the VCA Voice is to showcase how VCA Animal Hospitals is taking care of the future of veterinary medicine. We'll bring our purpose to life through meaningful conversations about care, our culture, and the communities we serve. On today's episode, I'm happy to welcome Aaron Frazier. Aaron is the Chief Operating Officer of VCA Animal Hospitals. Hi, Aaron. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Kerl.
Looking forward to our talk today, and I know you'll have lots of people listening in to hear about your story. So let's start off, if you can tell me a little bit about your career journey and where you started and how you found your way into veterinary medicine.
Yeah, my career journey's been, I'd say, a bit of a long, twisty road. I truly feel like I'm the luckiest person in our profession. Why I say that is I kind of tripped and fell backwards into it. When you look at most people in our profession, from a very young age, they knew they wanted to be in the veterinary space. For me, I started off in finance and out of university, worked as a business analyst for Safeco Finance and Insurance. And I knew I didn't want to do that in my life, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I looked in the paper, and yes, people still look in the paper for roles, or at that time, people looked in the paper for roles. It wasn't a weird thing to do. And so when I looked in the paper, Hill's Pet Nutrition was hiring, and I had gone to school at University of Kansas, and we were 30 minutes from their corporate office, and was aware of the company, knew it was a great company, and they had a sales role. And as a person in finance that wanted to get outside of just crunching numbers and want to deal more with people, I thought there was nothing that dealt more with people than sales. So I started off at Hills. I was originally on the pet side, calling on pet stores, and then moved to the veterinary space after about a year. And as I started calling on veterinarians as a sales role, I recognized the special place veterinary medicine was. And for me, it was really the people. And so I always say I came in the path in a bit of a different way, not only from my background and not from an early age thinking I was going to go into veterinary medicine, but came into veterinary medicine and stayed in veterinary medicine because I truly believe there's not a better group of people out there. And as a rep calling on veterinarians, I got to interact with many individuals in the hospitals, whether it's receptionists, techs, or the veterinarians. And as a whole, I was like, these are my people that cared about what they did, have a passion about what they did. And from there, I moved into a variety of roles with Hills. So from sales, moved into trade marketing. And then my last role at Hills was having corporate accounts. And from there, that's how I got introduced to VCA.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. It sounded like that was the intersection. So that was my next question, is about where your journey with VCA began and what the early part of that journey looked like.
Yeah, so as my last role at Hills was calling all the corporate veterinary groups, when I first got to know VCA, I found it to be a great place and a place, again, where I felt like, hey, this is my home. Reason for that was it was a large company, so it had a lot of opportunities, but really still operated with the entrepreneurial spirit, which is pretty rare. From the other side of the fence, being on the Hill side, I admired what VCA did. And from there, in discussions with them, a regional operations director job opened up in California. And they reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in this? And at that time, I'd been in thousands of hospitals, but had never worked in a hospital, and thought there's a lot of jobs that I could add value to, but that's one I'm going to definitely have a learning curve on. And they said, give it a try. If don't like it, we'll figure something else out. And I jumped in and loved it, and have spent a significant time of my career at VCA in operations.
So how did you learn the veterinary medicine part of the regional operations role? I know you'd said you'd been in a lot of hospitals, but it's very different when you're managing the people that care for animals.
Great question. I think I'm naturally a curious individual, so I leaned into that curiosity in a big way. Spent a lot of time in the hospitals trying to understand, ask, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? How does this work? How does that work? I was surrounded by a phenomenal group of people. So not only the hospital teams I supported were wonderful about allowing me to get behind the desk and get on the other side of the exam table or the front desk and really learn the business from that side. Mm-hmm. And so I spent a fair amount of time just working side by side with our reception teams in the treatment area with the teams there, as well as alongside the hospital managers and medical directors, and really understand what motivated them, why do they do what they do, what does success look like? And then from there, along with that, as well as the support of my colleagues and those above, I grew as a leader in veterinary space and from how do medical operations go together with operations and how do we support one another and how do we ultimately end up in a better place where more patients are cared for, more clients are taken care of, and we're impacting communities in great ways.
Since you were a member of one of our trusted partners, share your thoughts with me on the importance of us joining together with our industry partners to improve veterinary healthcare overall.
We're in a very tight space. It's a close-knit group, the veterinary community. And I think when you look at the wonderful work we do, other veterinary hospitals do, as well as our partners, in order for us to impact the greater good, which is the communities that we're all part of, or the clients and patients, as well as the people within our profession, I believe it's important that we work together because none of us can stand on our own. Our partners provide huge support, whether it's impacting our teams from an educational standpoint to continue to come to market with new innovative products that impact the patients we care for. And so I've always been a believer we're better together, whether it's us as a team working together or us with our partners working together.
Yeah, I always appreciate working with our partners that develop new diets and products using a strong background in science and considering what's best for our patients and our clients. That relationship to me is very important because we all want the same thing. We want to improve the lives of our pets and clients. So, Aaron, at some point you stepped out of your regional operations role and into a support office role. What was that first project when you joined VCA, and how was it received by our field and hospitals?
Yeah, so when I first stepped out of the field to a support office role, it was to step into the world of client experience, which was a new world for me. I had various backgrounds, and as a company, as VCA, up to that point, we were known for quality medicine from our teams as well as the communities, but from a client experience side, client service side, it wasn't something that was really part of us and who we are. And so I stepped into a role to really define what was the VCA client experience and how do we embed that as part of our culture. Spent a significant amount of time doing focus groups with our clients as well as with pet owners that weren't clients of ours to really understand what were clients looking for. From there, we established the foundation of the VCA client experience. And I spent a significant amount of time going around the country to our teams to share, to educate, and teach what were we going to do around supporting client experience for our clients and what was the VCA client experience defined by. It was met with excitement from our teams because it came from the voice of our clients. The client experience wasn't Aaron Frazier's client experience. It wasn't someone else's support office client experience, but it's really what our clients were asking for. And so we shared that. We empowered our teams to support and deliver on it. And we saw a significant impact in regards to whether it's a net promoter score or other areas that we measured to see are our clients having, in fact, a better experience and in turn allowing them to hopefully take better care of their pets.
Do you think your background in sales helped with that project?
Yeah, good question. I think my background in sales helped with a lot of things. I would say as a finance background, I was always a numbers person, and so sales is a role where you jump 2 feet in and you're front and center of people all day long. And so in all of our roles, whether it's my role of in rolling out client experience or anything we do, we need to be able to share our thoughts and hopefully in a way that resonates with people that they wouldn't accept it. So absolutely, as I went around the country and really was waving the flag of, hey, this is important to our clients and we need to make sure it's important to us so that we can impact more pets and ensure that clients are doing what they need to do with their pets. The sales played a big role in that.
So at that time during that role, you got to work with our founders, Bob and Art Anton and Neil Tauber. How was it working with those guys?
They're great. They're awesome. I think I would say, for me, Bob, Art, Neil, they've shaped me as a leader. I view all of them as mentors to me. I would say they're just real people, which is important to me. It's an area that I take pride in of being authentic, being real, being transparent. And I think part of how I gravitated to VCA was through their leadership of being real people. I think they operated with heart in what they did. They also had a lot of fun. They were goofy, joked around about it. So we all spend a lot of time at work. And so it's important that we obviously do a lot of things that are quite serious, but also it's important that we take time to have fun. And then I think the other area to me was they gave everybody voice. No matter what role you had in the company, they took time to listen in a real and authentic way. And to this day, we'll say that's what shaped VCA is the people that work for it. And so putting that focus on the people and sharing the voice for me is something that I continue to lean on as a leader in my role.
I love when Dr. Lavender describes you as having run a country, which makes it sound like you were an elected official. And I can think of other countries I wish you would run for election. But tell me about your general manager role in Canada.
I'm sure there'd be two facets of thought on whether I should be running a country or not. Thankfully, I'm not running a country, but my role as general manager of Canada was a super exciting role for me. When I previously had been in support office functions in the US and took the role in Canada, it really allowed me to take a lot of what I learned and then step into a whole new environment in a new place. And from there, try to adapt and see how I can impact. For me, one of the areas I really loved about the role is the opportunity to work with all functions of the company, whether that's the finance function, whether that's our P&O function, marketing. As general manager, responsible for supporting all of those teams. An area that I loved is how do we bring all the teams together and work together, as we talked about earlier, towards common goals, ensuring that no matter what our support office functions are, that they're really connected to what we do and impacting clients and patients. So it was great to step in and meet a wonderful group of new people and then find ways to support them in things I've done in the past as well as new ways.
So what are some of the similarities and some of the differences between VCA Canada when compared to VCA in the United States?
So I'll start with similarities. Veterinary medicine is veterinary medicine. From the core of what we do, it's very similar in that way. I would say from a people perspective, again, people are people. And when you look in the veterinary profession as a whole, no matter where you are, there's an undying passion for the work that we do and the care we provide. When you look at differences, to me, the biggest is culture. It's obviously a different country. Sometimes I feel like in the US, we forget it's a different country in Canada. But it's their culture is different. It's much more similar, I would say, to Europe than it is to US. And something that someone told me early in my days in Canada, but also resonated with me was when Americans look up to Canada and look through the window north, they see everything that's the same as the US. And when Canadians look through that same window south, they see everything that's different. Some of the differences from a veterinary medicine standpoint, the regulatory environments is significantly different, whether it's from the federal level or the provincial level. I'd say the other difference is as VCA Canada relative to VCA US is much younger as a company. We're newer into Canada, and whether you're looking at consolidation or other areas, it's at an earlier phase of where the US was. And I think one of the exciting things that's different is our ability to rapidly impact, whether it's a regulatory environment to what we're doing from innovation to impacting clients to working with the universities. And part of it's just scale from a smaller sense.
Yeah, I really appreciate the medical leadership in VCA Canada and the advancements that they've made, sometimes leading those advancements in the United States as well. I want to hear a little bit more now about your current role of the VCA Chief Operating Officer, which you assumed in September of 2023. How's it going so far?
September, it's been 7 months. It feels like 2 months.
Does it seem longer or shorter?
It depends on the day.
Okay.
The role's been awesome. I think it's one of the exciting things for me in stepping into the role was in working with so many of the team members over the years. It surprised me, but doesn't surprise me. Sometimes we step back and look at the longevity within VCA is awesome. And so being able to step back in and have relationships and know such a broad group of our associates is super motivating to me to be able to step in and see how can I support them and continue to progress what they do or their careers or whatever it may be that's important to their day-to-day in positive ways. And so it's fast and furious. There's never a dull moment, which anyone that knows me, I sitting idle too long, I'll go crazy. So I definitely don't have to worry about that in this role.
You mentioned this earlier, but can you share with me your perspectives on the importance of the partnership between medical operations and business operations for overall success into the future?
It has to be a strong partnership between medical operations and operations. I think everything we do starts with medicine. It's who we are. It's why our associates get up every day to get into the hospital and take care of the patients they see. In order for us to be successful and continue to be successful, whether it's people continuing to have retention in the space we are or continue to bring new associates that want to be part of VCA, we have to be focused on continuing to drive quality medicine. And then in turn, in order to be successful from a business perspective, we have to have quality medicine and in turn then support our clients through client experience and support our associates through what we do on the associate side. So in order to be successful, operations and medicine go hand in hand. It starts at the hospital with our doctors working side by side, not only with their teams, but with their leadership. It starts in our field operations with regional operations directors working side by side with their regional medical directors or their regional technical directors. And then it starts with us as well from our roles and ensuring that we continue to work on the same page and continue to drive things. In any perfect world, there's a degree of balance. And I think operations and medicine are constantly looking at how do we strike that perfect balance that we're continuing to progress medicine, but ensuring that we're positioned so that we can continue to invest in our business and our people.
I love that you brought up our regional medical directors and regional technician directors, which are the groups of our field medical leaders who directly impact our hospitals and work with field operations. What strength does that group of medical professionals bring to VCA as really a unique strength, I believe?
Yeah, it is a unique strength that really the triad of regional medical directors, regional technician directors, and regional operations directors bring to their teams. They're at an opportunity point in regards to many of them are supporting multiple hospitals across the region. And one of the greatest strengths we can bring is learning from each other. And so those roles are at that cross junction of that, where they may go in one hospital and see a challenge or see a success that hospital is having, whether it's from a medicine perspective or operations perspective. And a big function of that role is listening, understanding, and then going and sharing with another hospital of how do we continue to learn from each other and improve from each other or tackle some of the challenges we have together. And when our regional operations directors, regional medical directors, and regional technician directors are successful, they're building great relationships with those teams. They're connecting the teams together in great ways, and then ensuring that we're spreading the positivity of the things that are working great, and then working together on the challenges that we have to continue to impact the future of veterinary medicine in great ways. Ultimately, medicine is the heart of what we do. And so good medicine does build good business. And I think as we continue to go forward, there's no reason any of that changes. And from a medicine perspective, we need to continue to keep that front and center and then ensure we're supporting it in as many ways as possible to make sure that we have a thriving and healthy business and we continue to lead the profession.
So in any business climate, there will always be challenges and stressors. And I suspect you are more involved in some of those than I am in my role. What's important to focus on to weather some of those challenging times?
Yeah, it's a great question. We're in a world that's facing a lot of various challenges today in many different ways. We're in a profession as a whole that's facing challenges. And to me, when we face challenges, the most important thing we do is root ourselves in our people. We have to be solid at what we do. We have to continue to invest in our people, spend time supporting our teams, but also supporting each other. When times are challenging, when I talk about rerouting, it's rerouting at what we do best. So continue to stay focused on medicine, continue to stay focused on the experience we provide our associates, the experience we provide our clients, and then ensuring that we're prudent in an operations standpoint. As a company over the years, and as someone who's been with VCA now for 17 years, we've seen varying times of challenges. When I look back on what's been successful and I look forward of how do we continue to be successful, we continue to ensure that passion's there and what people do and remind people of why we do what we do and ensure that passion. When we root ourselves into who we are, oftentimes we've come out through the challenging times in a better spot. I think we always have to continue that, whether we face challenging times now or face challenging times in the future. And then we stay grounded in the areas that we know are important to our business and to our teams.
I love the entrepreneurial spirit within VCA in that as an acquisition company, all of the good ideas have started typically in one hospital or in a small group of hospitals and brought forward. Does that seem unique to you in the veterinary space or in any business?
It is unique to me, not only in the veterinary space, but across all businesses. And I think it roots back into the foundation of how we started is ensuring that all of our team members, no matter what their role is, that every associate has a voice in our company. And oftentimes the best ideas come from those that are closest to the situation. And in our case, supporting veterinary hospitals, it's the teams in the hospitals that are closest to how do we do a better job of impacting clients? What can we do from a medicine perspective that can impact pets in greater ways? And then what are some of the things we can do to support our associates in better ways? And every single time it typically starts at our hospitals, those ideas that have continued to drive us forward and continue to lead innovation, not only within VCA, but within our profession. So it's an area that's vitally important. It's an area that's important that we continue to empower our teams to have ideas and come up with ideas, empower our teams to have the freedom to look at new ways to impact any of those three areas, the clients, the patients, or each other, and then ensure that we find ways that if it works and we can impact it, how do we do it across the country or across North America?
Well, Aaron, we're nearing the end of our time together. In closing, what do you want to share with all of our VCA associates?
What I'd want to leave our listeners, and particularly those that are associates or part of our teams, is a huge thank you. I think whether you're a team member in a VCA animal hospital or a team member in any veterinary hospital, the work that individuals do in our profession is absolutely awesome. I recognize it comes with an incredible amount of challenge, which is where I want to thank you. Each and every day is different in its way, but in the impact that we have, not only on the pets we see, but those clients that are connected with those pets, those pet owners, that pet's such a vital piece of their life. The fact that we play a role in that is a huge task, but an incredible responsibility. And so I appreciate the heavy work our team's doing that. So thank you. For me, it's an honor to be in the profession. It's an honor to work side by side with all of our teams.
Well, Aaron, it's tremendous to work with you. I'm so happy that you're in your current role and we are already working very closely together, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much for joining me.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening in. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to leave a review to let us know your thoughts and share the episode with friends. Follow VCA Animal Hospitals on social media at LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For more inspiring stories, visit our website at vcavoice.com.